Hi, my name is Chinemere Madubike, and I'm here to make a presentation on understanding psychological stress and the coping strategies. In the introduction, we say psychological stress are mainly related with mental and emotional, and all these are derived from environment, workplaces, our day-to-day activity, our life encounter. All these things add up to build up psychological stress. The sources of psychological stress includes workplace stress. In our workplace, it can be associated in that we might be on a tight schedule, we might be rushing to meet up a deadline, conflict with colleagues at work, toxic work environment that is not conducive enough. All these things adds to psychological stress. Relationship stress. Relationship stress, it must not be romantic relationship. It can be with family, it can be with fraternal, when there is always a back and forth, when there is an argument, when the relationship is not just settling enough. All this yield to relationship stress, and all of them causes psychological stress in general. Financial stress. Financial stress comes in when someone is in debt. Um, you're not meeting up with, you're not able to assess your necessities, daily necessities, concerns about money, job insecurity. All of them can contribute to major stressor and build up our psychological stress. The next one is traumatic event. In traumatic event, it can be a very bad experience you've had, a past experience, past trauma, PTSD. All this, when you remember it from time to time, or when you get to a place and see something that makes you remember that, all this build up our psychological stress, especially when you're trying to get over such events. The next one can be life transition. Life transition can be moving from place to place, being in a new country, divorce, having a baby, having two babies. Like me now, I know I've had, since I registered this course, I've had two babies back to back. That was a very major life transitioning for me, and that's really contributed to much stress to me. Although it's a good one, I can't lie, but it still added to lots of psychological stress. So life transitioning also comes in and builds a major stressor. There's also social isolation. Social isolation, when you're a major introvert, when you're always lonely, when you don't have any social support, all this build up and causes psychological stress. Health concern. When you have a health concern, it must not necessarily be yours. It might be for a loved one, a colleague, your child, your mom. You get all this build up to psychological stress. Effects of psychological stress. When you're always stressed psychologically, all these causes effects can be mental, it can be physical. Mostly when it's physical, our it affects our blood pressure, it affects our digestive system, it weakens our immune system generally, because our body is always working overtime, it's always stretched. When it's mental, it can lead to depression, anxiety, and all the other mental health conditions that comes with it. Also, behavioral change. When you're psychological stressed, you change, you tend to withdraw from society, you tend to withdraw from activity you merely enjoy. So there is a very active withdrawal scene. You start developing, you start trying to cope with substances, start trying to cook, developing unhealthy changes to be able to cope. Also, cognitive impairment. The chronic stress can impair the memory, can lead to lack of concentration. It can even impair your decision making. Also, interpersonal issues. High stress can strain your relationship and lead to conflict with other people. That one is true. So some coping strategies that one can use to cope when stressed: mindfulness and meditation. Exercise helps. Yeah, when you exercise, your body resets, your muscle, your nerves calms down. So exercise really helps. Meditation also helps. When you do yoga, relaxing exercises that helps you to relax. Social support. When you go out and meet people, they meet you, you involve in one or two activity, all this helps as well. Cognitive behavioral techniques, all this also helps. Relaxation technique, time management. When you plan your day, you schedule yourself, you work according to schedule, work according to time. All this helps to reduce and manage your stress level. Seeking personal help. Yeah, therapy also really helps. Effectiveness of the coping strategies. Research evidence. Study shows that mindfulness based on exercise, social support, all this helps in reducing psychological stress. Individual variability. The effectiveness of coping strategy may vary from person to person depending on the factor and personality of a person. When somebody that's, if you're not vulnerable enough or open enough, it depends on how vulnerable or open you are to be able to get help, to be able to make changes. So individual variability also comes in. Combination approach. When you combine multiple coping strategies tailored for your needs, is also used the best results. Long-time benefit. Building resilience to effective coping strategies also have a long-lasting benefits on your mental stress overall. In conclusion, understanding the sources of psychological stress and adopting effective coping strategies are essential for maintaining mental well-being and in today's fast-paced world. So we're able to understand and also try to put in the effectiveness and coping strategy. It will help you to manage and reduce your stress level. All this helps to manage psychological stress and to cope and in coping, and also to see the best results for yourself. Thank you. And these are my references. Thank you.